Hello everybody, Robin here at Toadstool Tarot. I saw this available online at Amazon and wanted it for Christmas, but the release date listed there wasn't till December 28th. Then I saw a walkthrough indicating that Barnes & Noble had an exclusive edition version available already. So I rushed and ordered that. Now, it appears the only difference between the two is there's a little sticker here about Barnes & Noble exclusive. The advertising appears that the image on the box is different, but that might just be misadvertising. So we'll have to wait and see what the Amazon version looks like. And I was told by the person in that walkthrough that this special edition comes in a little velveteen pouch that the other version doesn't come in, but it's a wait and see situation. So it's in a nice sturdy hard box. I expect the graphics are pretty much the same. Here's the interior of the box. It was a very tight fit on the box. It does have thumb inserts, but it was quite snug to get off the top of the box. Here's the back with a few little thumbnails, little stripes on the sides of the box. It's all the patterns inside. There is a nice little guidebook in full color with a page per card. Now there are also, here is the velveteen drawstring bag that was inside the box, which has the Disney logo on it. And I love this little image of Alice sort of falling down the rabbit hole. Now there are a few Alice decks out there, and my objection to them is the illustration style. Because my favorite illustrations, of course, are the classic ones by John Tenniel, and only one deck has come out using those, and even that one's not completely accurate. I think that the Alice Tarot that comes in a tin uses Tenniel's illustration, but they've been redrawn, and a few of them have been changed, I believe. So I didn't care for that. As far as Disney decks go, and as far as this deck too, there are several decks out there. There's the Guillermo del Toro. I don't know if that's a Disney deck or not, but it falls in the same mode. The Nightmare Before Christmas, and this one, and there are a few others. They tend to be pip decks. And they also feel more to me like souvenirs of the movies rather than tarot in their own right. And this one, it's odd. I don't know. It's supposed to be Disney, but they don't look like illustrations from the Disney movies. The style is close. It's similar, but it's not accurate to the movie illustrations. It looks like they've been redrawn sort of close to the children's books that followed the movie in the 50s and 60s, were redrawn and look almost like they used the same palette but were redrawn by people who did matte paintings for the backgrounds of Disney films. Anyway, this one was done by Lisa Vanina. The deck is by Minerva Siegel, illustrated by Lisa Vanina. And it has a beautiful color palette, and the illustrations are nice. They're just not exactly the same as in the Disney film. The Disney film and the Tenniel drawings are the only two versions of Alice illustration that I feel comfortable with. This is the card back design. The card stock is substantial. They're matte, but they seem to be laminated in a very buttery, slick coating that, in fact, on some of the cards appears like to have almost like a stain, like if somebody had been physically handling butter than handling the cards. So I don't know how that happened in the manufacturing, but hopefully it won't show up in this walkthrough. The borders are thin and nice, stylized, little labels at the bottom. So we have here the Fool. And some of these cards are very much in keeping with characters in the film, in the story. You kind of need the story to interpret the cards, I think. Oh, some have been relabeled too. So the Fool, the Magician. This one is the Mystery instead of the High Priestess. The Queen is the Empress. The Emperor. Alice's sister is the Hierophant. Tweedledum and Tweedledee are not the lovers, they're the pair. I do like the stylized quality. I like stylized decks, and I like the colors in this deck. The pops of color are really attractive and appealing. It's the Chariot. Strength. We have, I guess it's meant to be a dandelion. Some sort of flower that looks like a lion. The Hermit. The Dodo and the Caucus race, where they're running in circles to get dry after swimming in the pool of tears, is the Wheel of Fortune. Now, you can see here, you wouldn't know that if you didn't know the story, so that could be a problem for some. You need to have a little bit of familiarity with the story or the film to fully appreciate the deck. Although you can read without it, as with almost any deck, just by referring to the labels. Justice. Suspension, which is our Hanged Man. Transformation, which is the Death card. It's the Caterpillar. Temperance. And I do like, this is an obvious reference to the Eat Me, Drink Me substances in the film that make Alice grow and shrink in size, but they are not labeled here. So I sort of appreciate that they're not labeled, actually. Temptation. This is from the story or song of the Walrus and the Carpenter. The walrus tempted these oysters by inviting them for dinner and ended up having them for dinner. That's what makes him a devil of a character. Oh, sorry. Yes, temptation would be the devil. Otherwise, you wouldn't know from this image. Why is that the devil? The tower, here's Alice when she grew too tall inside a little cottage. Can't remember if it was the White Rabbit's cottage, I believe it was. The star is one of the flowers in the garden. The moon. The sun, Alice at the tea party. And you might ask why some of these are the depictions that they are. I don't believe it really clarifies in the book. Judgment. This seems to be Judgment sheerly because there's a bugle in it. I don't know. And the world. I guess this is Alice dreaming or daydreaming under a tree about a more fanciful world. Now we have the suits. These are Pippish, and like I said, beautiful color and beautiful design, but if you don't read Pip decks, you might find yourself frustrated. This is the order they came in. The King of Flowers, the Queen of Flowers, the Knight of Flowers, the Page of Flowers. Then we go 1, or Ace of Flowers, 2, 3, and I actually find the flower suit rather pretty, and I have assumed that flowers are wands in this deck. 3 of flowers, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I don't know why they chose flowers to be the wands. The flower figures are not particularly prominent in the Alice story, more so in the movie, I suppose. I guess flowers kind of goes with the wands, which are usually depicted as sort of tree branches, plant branches. So I guess the stalks of flowers or stems of flowers kind of works for that. Next suit is Hedgehogs, which are the Pentacles. King of Hedgehogs, this is the carpenter from the Walrus and the Carpenter story. I have no idea what he has to do with hedgehogs or pentacles. Queen of Hedgehogs, I think this was one of the birds in the tree when Alice grew too tall. She accused Alice of being a serpent trying to steal her eggs. Again, why is this the Queen of Hedgehogs? I don't know. You have to suspend some disbelief, I guess, or suspend some belief in this deck to enjoy it just on a level of color and design. Knight of Hedgehogs, this was a helper, I think his name was Bill, who went to try and get Alice out of the White Rabbit's house. Here he is on a ladder on the roof. That's the Knight of Hedgehogs. And the Page of Hedgehogs. Can't remember what the deal is with these creatures. One seemed to be hammer-headed birds, and this one has a sort of a planter's trowel, or trowel, that might be the wrong word, for its head. I also wonder if I might have made, if hedgehogs are the pentacles and they're used as the balls in the croquet game, then mightn't we have made flamingos the wands, which are used to sort of bat the hedgehogs around through the hoops. But anyway, so now we have the one of hedgehogs, very cute hedgehog, but from here on out, they're not particularly adventurous or intriguing arrangements. I think they could have been a little more adventurous with this. They just kind of changed the color, had eyes open, eyes closed, and flipped them back and forth. So that's a little dull. Next we have spears, which are the swords. King of Spears is the March Hare from the Mad Tea Party. Queen of Spears is Alice confronting the queen in the court when she's grown back to full size. Knight of Spears is one of the playing card soldiers. Page of Spears, one who was painting the queen's roses red in her gardens. The one or ace of spears. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Last suit we have the cups, and it's teacups. So this is the King of Teacups. It's the doorknob in the hall where Alice fell down the rabbit's hole. She landed in a hall with a door that she couldn't pass through to get into the garden. This was the doorknob on that door. Queen of Teacups. This is the mother of the oysters eaten by the walrus and the carpenter. It's, you know, the story is all over the map in terms of these cards and suits. It's just, again, I think sort of randomly assigned. Here's a Knight of Teacups. I don't remember this character. It must have been another one of those peculiar birds from the garden. Page of Teacups. This is Alice's cat, Dinah, which didn't even go to Wonderland, so this must be above ground in the meadow. And we have the ace, or one of teacups. 2. Now here at least they changed the pattern on the cups, which is kind of nice. I do like the way this suit looks. So I'd say my favorite suits here are the flowers and the teacups, because there is a little bit more variety. If you're going to have pips, you might as well have a little bit of variety there. And the 10 of teacups. Now, these feel really fantastic, but they're just a little bit clumpy. I think they will loosen with wear. They do seem fairly flexible. And time will tell if I truly like this deck or not. I'm a little disappointed about the Pippish suits, but I had seen a walkthrough beforehand, before buying, which I always do, so I can't be too disappointed. I went ahead and bought it despite what I saw in the walkthrough. I'm sure I haven't shuffled these nearly enough. Let's see what comes out here. Yeah, needs more shuffling, obviously. Anyway, I think you get the idea. Is this something you would buy? I know there are about 5 other Alice-themed decks out there. Some are out of print. I do like that there's a little velveteen bag. I think that's nice. The guidebook has understanding your tarot deck, major arcana, minor arcana, tarot readings, caring for your deck, preparing to read tarot, and tarot spreads. So let's have an example here. The Fool card. Description: the Fool represents someone who, like Alice, is about to follow their curiosity through a life-changing journey, wide-eyed, yearning for adventure, and a little naive. The Fool eagerly tumbles down the rabbit hole without much worry about where she'll end up or what sort of topsy-turvy scenarios she may encounter along the way. Upright. You're about to take your first steps. Sorry, I need to change glasses. The print's a little small for me. You're about to take your first steps on the adventure of a lifetime. Who knows what fantastical characters and confounding situations you may encounter. Maintain optimism throughout this journey. Its challenges will teach you important lessons, and its triumphs will open your eyes to a whole new, wonderful perspective on life. Reversed, the Fool suggests that you may be making yourself late for a very important date. You're on the precipice of an important journey, but you're hesitating. How have you been delaying a potentially life-changing conversation, making excuses to stall a new project, or procrastinating on something you know it's time to begin? Now's the time to bravely step out into the unknown with your head held high and trust that everything will come together just as it's supposed to. So that's all you get for the card, the same for each card, I guess. There are, minimal references to the Alice story, as you heard. It looks like the minors don't have a description. They just have the upright and reversed meanings. So there's even less information there. So what do you think? Would you get this deck, I would suggest, if you're not in a rush like I was, perhaps waiting until after December 28th to compare this with the Amazon version of the deck. You probably will still be able to get the Barnes & Noble one if you prefer it after that point. And I think they are more or less near about the same price. Fairly reasonable for a mass market deck. So anyway, have lovely holidays, and I will see you all again soon.